right, welcome. This is Financial Literacy with TC. I am your host, TC. Thank you for joining me for another week in another episode of Financial Literacy with TC. As always, I want to thank you guys for joining me. There's so many podcasts out in the world you could have chose to listen to, but you chose to listen to mine, so I'm always thankful. Today, I have a very special guest. Autumn.Jennings is joining me. And before I let Autumn address you guys, I just want to give her a nice, beautiful introduction. Because she is someone who's killing the game right now in the city of Pittsburgh, and I just want to give her just due. So Autumn, bear with me and correct me if I make any mistakes. So Autumn is highly motivated, a goal-driven entrepreneur. She loves helping as many people as she can in the beauty field, medical field, and even sales. She's a jack of all trades, as she likes to say. She started her career working for UPMC Health Plan, doing benefits in the benefits department. She then transferred to the hospital for Montefiore, where she learned to be a part of the transplant team, working under doctors, nurses, etc. Once the pandemic took place, she inspired to tap into her creativity. She became self-employed, traveling makeup artist. She made house calls for close friends, family. She spreaded the word over social media about her craft. And while she was doing that, she started to provide beauty services and makeup services for weddings, special occasions, and just a lot of different situations that people need makeup. She tested her limits and took it to another route when she wanted to start getting into nails, beauty. But currently what we're excited to talk about today is Autumn is actually a Black female working for Audi Pittsburgh. Let me say that again. A Black female working for Audi Pittsburgh. Yep. And for those who don't know, we're going to dive into why that's so significant for a Black woman to be dominating in a field that's predominantly dominated by men. And also, we want to leave you guys with some financial literacy. And today we're going to be talking about overdrafts, which I'm very excited about because I know it's something that in the Black community we deal with a lot. So, with all that being said, Autumn, thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much, Tyler. Thank you so much for having me. This is my first podcast, so
she's going to do great.
I'm going to do great. But yeah, I'm excited to be here. I would love to, just take this opportunity to just put myself out there, just spread the word, let people know that, even though you are a female, and if you do want to pursue sales, definitely just go for it, honestly. Like, there's good money, good benefits, and you can get a lot of things accomplished financially.
Absolutely. So, let's kind of, before we get into where you're at now, which is phenomenal, let's take people back to what kind of led you up to joining your career. So I kind of already read that you were, around pandemic time, you were trying to search for what your niche was and what you're good at and what you enjoy, if I'm saying that correctly. Mm-hmm. So when you found that the beauty industry, makeup and things of that nature, what kind of came up that made you pursue getting into sales?
So it's so funny. So I was actually going through a hard time at that time. I backed away from my 9-to-5 job. I was a traveling makeup artist at the time, but I knew I wanted more, and I knew my potential was just, out of this world. So I just felt like, what else can I do to make more money? Right. What can I do to live the lavish life that I always want? Ooh. You see Real Housewives, you see like the reality shows, you want all those, fine, the finer things in life. And I'm just like, what can I do to get to that, point where I can just live comfortable?
I love that.
So it was this one day, my dad, called me. He sent me a picture. Well, he called me and then he sent me a picture. He just bought a Dodge Ram. Okay. So he just bought this truck, and I'm just like, you know what? I could have sold my dad that car.
Right.
It just took that thought in my head. Literally, it just took that thought, and I'm just like, I could have sold him.
Now, was it decked out with all the bells and whistles?
Oh yeah. Like, my dad gotta go hard, so it's just like, all right. So I'm just like, I could have sold him that. Now here's a little background story. Back when I was 18, I used to do door-to-door sales.
Okay, so you weren't unfamiliar with sales.
Exactly, but I let that alone. I reached my goal and I just put that to the side. But I was so good at doing door-to-door sales when I was 18. literally, I was so surprised on how many people really opened their doors just to hear what I had to say, listened to my whole pitch, and then signed up for the product that I was selling.
Right.
I was literally like the second top sales woman in my department at that time, and I was only 18.
Awesome. Yeah.
So I just figured, I just started piecing all my skills and my strengths together. Okay, well, you are social. You did door-to-door sales.
Yep.
Your dad just bought a car.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if you sell cars, you would be pretty successful.
Right.
And then it also dawned on me, well, I always wanted an Audi. My name is Autumn. My childhood nickname has always been Audi my whole life.
Yeah.
Literally. So if you see me on Instagram, no, it's not because I sell Audis. I've been Audi.
Right.
For those who know me. So
I love that.
So I'm just this will be some cliche, kind of thing. All right, let me just, give it a try. Excuse me. Let me just give it a try. So I just
now were we 2021, 22? Where were we at?
What year?
Because I think pandemic was late 22, 23 type of thing.
So I want to say.
Or no, pandemic was 2020.
It was 2020, and then it ended 2021, going on 2022.
Okay.
So this was going on. This had to be 2022.
Okay.
Yep, 2022 is when this grand idea came to me. So I was just okay, I want an Audi. This will be so hard. The fact that y'all know me as Audi, and then I'm driving an Audi. So let me just do it.
Now, what I have to ask, what were you driving before your Audi?
I was driving a Dodge Charger.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've always liked cars. Mind you, my dad just bought a car. My dad always buys different kind of cars.
Okay.
So he's always switching it up. So I just grew up just seeing the switch up all the time.
Okay.
And I like cars. I like looking good and feeling good.
Absolutely.
So I work hard. You might as well, just drive what you really want to drive.
Right.
So I applied, and they instantly called me, and they were just we want to interview you. And I'm are you serious?
Okay.
So I'm all right. I do the interview. Now this is funny too. As soon as I walk in the building for my interview,
and this is for Audi Pittsburgh.
Yes.
Okay.
Audi Pittsburgh. Literally, I walk in the building for my interview, and I see a guy that looks so familiar, and I'm like John. Literally, I'm John. He's Autumn, and I'm what the heck? And this was my old classmate back when I did CCAC. He's the manager.
Okay.
He was the manager at Audi Pittsburgh.
Wow.
And I had no idea he worked there at all, but we used to be really cool back in those days when I did CCAC. So we just automatically knew each other. So then at that point, I'm oh yeah, I already know. I'm in there.
Your confidence level, wherever it was.
I knew I was already in there. And then my manager, surprisingly, she was a female. Okay. So she does run the store still currently today.
Okay. If you want to shout her out,
shout out to Jessica Peeney. She's a beast. I'm telling you, she runs the store. She holds it all the way down.
Shout out to Jessica.
Literally girl power. But
hey, women empowerment.
Yes.
Coming off the month.
Yes, definitely. But she interviewed me. I was going to be the first female sales person on the floor, and on top of that, being a Black woman as well.
Yes.
So I was definitely nervous, but when I got in, it was hard to learn the business for sure, because I just switched fields. Right. But I'm still here 2 years.
No, so what I love about that is one, because I'm not gonna say it's not common for women to love cars and stuff, because I'm pretty sure that's very common, especially in this day and age. But the fact that you had sales that gave you confidence that you could do it, you've done it in the past, you for whatever reason you took another path, and then for it to correlate with you growing up, your dad always getting new cars, so you like to look good in a car, all the bells and whistles. And the fact that as soon as your dad gets a new car, your first thought was, damn, I could have sold this to him. Because, the most common thing is if we were playing, Family Feud, what's the most common answer? I don't think many people say, I could have sold you that. Right. They're probably this is nice. Let me get in it.
Exactly.
Let's go drive it. I find that to be very interesting about you, because that speaks volumes, because that kind of was the spark plug or light bulb.
Literally.
Oh yeah, I'm about to go give me a job selling cars. So,
exactly.
Kudos to you for that.
Thank you.
And I guess my next question would be, when you said making that transition from being a travel makeup artist,
Yep.
thank you, travel and makeup artist, what was, so because it's we're talking financial literacy here, was it more of you weren't making enough, or you weren't getting enough clients, or like what was it about what you were currently doing? Because I'm sure you probably to this day still love doing makeup, things of that nature.
Right.
But what about it? Because I know you said you wanted to have an income that reflect the type of lifestyle you want,
Right.
which I totally get, because that's all I think about. So,
Exactly.
but what was some of the things you would say that kind of got you in that mindset that you weren't getting from traveling and makeup?
It was definitely my survival mode, that just kicked in because, previously I worked for UPMC, so that was my 9 to 5, and I was there for about 6 years. So that's always been a safety net. My mom always told me, "Oh, get your benefits.
Yeah.
You'll still stay with the reunion and all this other stuff." So I'm just like, okay. But I knew that it took so much longer to get to the next level, to get that extra increase.
Because there's a cap on what you're going to earn.
Exactly.
Yeah. And they dictate what you're going to make.
Exactly. They really do. So I was just and then when the pandemic came, tapped into being self-employed. But yes, the money was good, but it was like hit or miss because some people
it wasn't as consistent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Some people had special occasions to go to. Some people had weddings not until May, and we're already in the fall season. So it's just I needed more.
Yeah.
I needed more, I had to pay bills, had to survive. So I'm just I got to do a switch up.
Absolutely.
I definitely have to do a switch up, and I just put my mind to it, literally.
Yeah, I love that. So you said that you had to adjust and learn how to do sales in the car. What was the biggest adjustment for you?
Oh man, walking up and talking to people. Literally, I was just so scared because they're like, "Yeah, well, you're on the floor now, so you're done with training. We told you what to say. Here's the little script, but you're not going to be holding the script every time.
Right. So
you have to put your own little pizzazz in it. You have to tweak it and make it your own.
Yeah, let your character come out.
Exactly. So I'm just the first couple tries, I sat downstairs because our dealership, they have about 4 different levels. Yeah. So downstairs is the lobby as soon as everyone walks in.
And if you haven't been in there, so quick story before you finish. I'm sorry. So the Audi Pittsburgh, where it's at now, it used to be predominantly in Dormont. Yes. And I used to live in Dormont. So I actually been in there in that old one. And I think they still have it, but they moved to used cars.
Yep.
So now the new location, beautiful building, beautiful location in the Strip, if you don't know where it's at. So I just wanted to give that little backstory.
No, definitely. But you know what? They moved to that location because they were building the one in the Strip.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
So it was a temporary location.
Oh, see, I didn't even know that. Okay.
Yeah, but a lot of people were like, "Oh yeah, that dealership," and it's no, that was just for reconstruction.
I mean, because it was decent, but it ain't nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But just walking up to people was just the hard part because I just didn't know what to say. I'm like, "Hi," I don't want to just instantly say, "Oh, are you here to buy a car?" You don't want to just come off too strong. Right. You have to gradually make your way in there, ask what they're looking for. So my ideas start coming through, and I'm like, let me get a notebook.
Right.
Let me just be a little studious. Let me make them feel like I'm really listening because, I know I'm going to be talking to a lot of clients and I'm not going to remember them.
Right.
So me just walking up to them with a notebook and I'm just like a waiter.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, let me take your order. Just
you're listening more than you're talking. I love that.
Right. And I'm just so compassionate about just people in general. I'm just okay, I really care. If you want to get to this goal, let me see what I can do to help you. But I'm going to write down everything and I'm going to ask you all the questions, what you need. So then when we do go and take a look at our inventory, I already know what to cross out.
Exactly.
I'm like, oh, boom, 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 boom. Okay, this is the car. Let's do a test drive.
Right.
Boom, they fall in love with it.
Right.
And then that's just how it goes.
So I think that's monumental what you just said because for those who aren't familiar with buying a car or how dealerships work, a lot of times the person that the customer, let's say I'm the customer, The person that you deal with, they'll make or break if you really want to, buy your car there. So the fact that you were new and it took you a while to figure out how you're gonna, because a script is a script for everybody. But what gets people sales and what really helps, make the sale is the individual and your personality and how you come off. And the fact that you were like, all right, let me get my notepad, let me start studying and observing and learning what's the best approach, and then you found something that worked for you. Is phenomenal, because a lot of people wouldn't have took that approach.
Exactly.
And a lot of people don't have the courage, and they struggle with figuring out how to, for lack of a better word, the game works.
Exactly.
So the fact that you were able to navigate that, and I ain't gonna lie to you, we're gonna get into some of your reviews. So we're gonna do, I took the liberty of getting on Google reviews, and you can do the same. And Autumn, let me count them up. Hold up. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I went through at least probably like 2 years worth of the reviews that was on there. She got 9 reviews, y'all. And the most recent one was 3 days ago. So somebody done bought a sweet, it doesn't say we bought that. Somebody done bought a sweet Audi. Yeah.
My boy.
So yeah, I mean, this technically is public knowledge because you can Google it. Like, I didn't do it, but so, and everything that so from what I gathered from everything I read about your reviews, the number one thing that I said, they said you knew your stuff.
Yes.
And the fact that I found that so significant is because, as a woman, and I don't want to pretend, to know what it's like to be in a woman's shoes, because I don't. But sometimes, there's this stigma or this notion that, oh, she's a woman, of course she's going to be successful in that field because she's attractive or she's this, she's that. And first my question is, have you ever felt that or get a sense of that, or has that ever come up?
Yes.
And then 2, what made you really, because these are reviews that aren't saying anything about, the way you look or anything like that. They're like, she knows her stuff. She's a great person, great personality. Like, these are legit reviews. And to me, that just stood out because, one, I don't go into dealerships every day and see predominantly black female, and I don't go and see females in general for car dealerships. So, just out of curiosity, how's that dynamic been for you?
It's been awesome. Honestly, there's been times where I'm like, okay, I am feeling a little uncomfortable, but at the same time, I just get right back in mode, Autumn, they're here for a car at the end of the day.
Gotcha.
So whatever personal, issues, just set it aside for a second.
And no matter what industry you get, you get some of that no matter what.
Literally. But honestly, I really have never had any huge complications with any of my clients.
Okay, and that's great to hear.
And I have such a good judgment when it comes to my clientele. I can already read them. I can read body language, I can read the vibes, and it's so funny because my managers, they do it the old school way. They've been in the game a lot more longer than I have.
Right.
But when I came into it, they're like, Autumn, you're always talking about what you feel like and what it feels, and I'm like, yeah, because it's all about the feeling, it's all about the vibe, we are in a new era now where vibes and energy, that stuff matters. That is an existing thing, and that we need to be a little bit more aware of that. So I know you guys have a script and y'all go by that, but I go off the vibes. I literally go off the vibes. If someone's, quiet, they come in a dealership quiet, I'm quiet.
Right.
we don't got talk.
I love that because I have a saying, I match energies.
Right. Me too.
For those who know me regularly, I work in a financial institution. So there's people who, everybody's not compatible with everybody. Right. So like you just said, if somebody's more, they're not very social, they're very standoffish. Right. My personality, big and loud, might be unappealing to them. So you know what? Maybe my coworker is more suited for them. They're a little bit more reserved. And so that's an excellent skill set that you have to have because you can't approach everybody the same way and think you'll get the same result.
Exactly.
So I love that you said that.
And that first approach too is just like, you know, you don't know what they're like, you know, they're just walking in. So you kind of got to just like feel them out for a second.
Right.
But I feel like test drives are the most important things because you really have that one-on-one connection with them on the test drive.
Right.
You talk about where they're from, you talk about, you know, how many kids you have, like what activities do you get into, what do you do for a living. Now by the time you came back from the dealership, from your test drive, you already know them.
Right.
So now you got the hard part out the way.
Exactly.
Now
rapport building.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the numbers and let's see if we can make something happen.
See, I love that. And, you know, this is financial literacy with TC. So one of the things that I always correlate with my guests is if we're in two different industries, and granted my financial institution and her dealership have a type of relationship where, you know, we do auto loans and they, you know, need people to, you know, pay for the buy the cars.
Right.
So when I understand that, you know, the rapport building part is a huge aspect, because a lot of times bank people are like therapists to their customers or members, and similar to the car dealership, you know, people want to feel the importance of why I'm buying this car, because one of the biggest purchases they'll ever make in their life.
Exactly.
So they can't be just, oh, give me that for X amount of reasons. They need to feel like they're winning in the deal.
Exactly.
And if they don't have somebody taking the time, and again, this is for anybody who don't buy cars that often.
Right.
If you don't feel like you're getting a value and you're not, that person is not making you feel good about your purchase, then, because you could go to Auto Trader, Canva, or what's the other, Carvana, I'm sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, you could go buy your car offline. But most people, especially the older generation, and as we, you know, at some point we probably, God forbid, that's the way we're going. Most people could just, you know, click a button, but there's a lot of people that still want that old school car salesman feel or car saleswoman feel, and they want you to make me feel good about this purchase. So the fact that you were able to, you know, find your niche, and like I said, you got about 9-10 people raving reviews. So.
Right,
so,
definitely.
and I'm not gonna lie, this is a perfect time to say, if you are in the market to buy a car, Autumn is who you want to go see.
Come see me.
Her information will be at the bottom. So, our other topic that I wanted to get into that correlates to how we initially first met, when I don't even really remember it, to be honest. So, the other financial institution I was working at here in Braddock Hills, you were a customer, and I was the manager at the time. And I don't even remember this situation, but apparently you do. So so I want to let you know, as much as you remember, you let them know.
Yeah, of course. So what was it? I lost my train of thought. Okay, so all right, I bank with Dollar Bank. And Braddock Hills, there's a Dollar Bank up there. Yeah. And that was always my go-to bank. I don't live too far from the area, so I'm just like, all right, like, let me just go to Dollar Bank. So I go up there, but this time I went up there to, you know, try to take off some of those insufficient funds.
She's the PC. Insufficient funds. Yeah.
So you know, and I'm sure everybody has had their experience where you have like those automatic payments, and you know you forget you forget that you got something else going on. You already spent your money the day before, and then you got an automatic withdrawal coming out. So boom, you get hit with those insufficient funds. Yep. So I just so happened to come in Dollar Bank, and I ran into Tyler, and surprisingly, I was so happy that you were black.
Oh, I see.
You know, because I didn't really see too many, like, you know, black bankers, you know, up there.
This show is about black representation, so I take that as a badge of honor. So thank you.
Yeah, of course. And I'm like, okay, well, you know, maybe this brother can help me out. Yeah. So I walk up, I'm just like, listen, can you just help me out real quick? Like, you know, take off some of these fees, like, you know, I know I'm going to get out the negative real soon, but, you know, just help me out. So,
well, apparently I did, because I'll be honest, y'all, I did not remember. So apparently you left happy.
Yeah, I left happy.
So I did my job that day. Yeah.
Yes, but that was a long time ago.
For sure, it was definitely a long time ago. And we were able to reconnect maybe maybe a month ago. 3 or 4 weeks, yeah. And we were at Nobleman Cigar Lounge, so shout out to Welcome Wednesdays.
Yes, Welcome Wednesdays.
And we were, we reconnected, and you were like, I remember you. And while I did not remember you at the time, but it was phenomenal because you made me feel good, because when I was in that role, and till this day, my goal is to leave a lasting impression. One, because I want to be able to be that person that you can look and say, you know what, that person looks like me, so maybe they can help me. Because a lot of times we don't get that in any walks of life. So the fact that you said that was great. And then two, because years later, from where you were into where you are now, and you were able to tell me how great you're doing and what you're doing, I was immediately proud and so happy, just for your, I'm gonna say, your come up, your glow up, whatever you want to call it. And that made me feel so good, because I didn't know the ramifications of what I was doing for you that day. Not to say that had any bearings on where you're at, but who knows?
Exactly.
And just to see from point A to point B, because a lot of times you don't get that in life. You don't know what you did in the past has any repercussions or ramifications. So, and for all I know, it was a small act of kindness that.
Exactly.
And granted, that might not have anything to do with your success now, but I'm gonna wear that in my head as a badge of honor that you know what, I did a kindness for Autumn, and she's blowing up. So, but it gave us an opportunity to reconnect, if nothing else, and that's what I was mainly thrilled about. And once you told me you're a Black female working at Audi Pittsburgh, I instantly thought, damn, I don't know too many minority women. And not to say they don't exist, because obviously they do, working in a predominantly male field and who are having major success. So what I did was I took it upon myself. I wanted to get some numbers. So, so the auto industry is predominantly dominated by males, and this information can easily be researched on Google. So the Bureau of Labor Statistics has shown that only 21.4 of all employees are women in the auto industry, or the dealership industry, excuse me. And of that 20% of women, 11% of all automotive sales are by women, while 89% is men. So what that tells me is, even though there's not a huge number of women in dealerships or who sell cars, they're highly successful, which is, makes sense to me. Like, well, why aren't more women? And again, I don't know, this is a Google search, so it's not very in depth, but the fact that, that doesn't make sense to me. It's a business. Why wouldn't you want and maybe just, that's not a field particularly women want to go into. So hopefully by having this conversation, we're inspiring any other women, or especially minority women, to look into, I like cars. I might want to sell cars.
Exactly, literally.
So yeah, just your thoughts on that.
Yeah, literally the goal was to get the car that I wanted.
Yes.
And
it's a beautiful car too.
That has already been done, but also I just want to, have a voice out there for any of the girls who are just, thinking about it, but you're not just like ready to make that big move just yet. Just do it. Literally, I was nervous. I was scared. I mean, shoot, I was the only girl, on the sales floor. It was all these older guys, and they already had, life has already, came and went with them. So it's just like, dang, and they just see this fresh, young face here, and it's just like, it's a little intimidating, because, you're used to the whole flow of things at work, and then now you have like a new girl, and she's Black too, and she's, she's decent looking, and she's eager to learn. Like,
she's very, very humble or modest, guys. So if you go on Audi's website, not to cut you off, I'm sorry.
You're fine.
This is a picture of Autumn, and she has a nice bio. She has her email and contact information on there. So if you were to go, especially if you want to buy a car, you want to make sure and I kind of love how they did everybody's profile. So there's no it's quite understandable why people have amazing reviews about you guys. And you guys have amazing star ratings. So I just wanted to throw that in there. Understand what you're saying?
No, I've actually had people reach out to me like, oh, I seen your bio online and I just want to work with you. And I'm like, dang, okay. Like, I didn't know y'all be reading.
Right.
And same thing with the Google reviews. They're like, oh, wow. Like, you know, I'm new to the city, just, you know, moved here. Like, but I hear everybody raving about Autumn. Like, I just want to work with you. And I'm like, okay, so the reviews help too. Like, and so I've just been prompting everybody, like, hey, if you like me, you know, please write a good review. You know, tell them your experience with me, and you know, there's also a survey too, because those surveys matter so much to car sales, literally. That it could be your paycheck, you know, in jeopardy due to a bad survey. So for other dealerships, yes. For mine, you know, it's pretty much like a score, but I'm still like, you know, I still want to have the highest score for sure.
Absolutely. And kind of what I love about what you said there is all businesses have metrics. And while I don't know specifically what the dealership looks for, obviously they want to sell cars. But, you know, there's a lot more that goes into selling a car than just, you know, someone coming in and picking a car and going about their way. You know, there's a lot of things that they need to know. There's a lot of relationships that need to be built. And sort of what we were talking about off camera is, you know, you've really gone out of your way to make sure you're learning to build relationships that help you catapult your numbers and help you not have to work smarter, not harder. And a great example that you gave of that is some of your, I don't want to say all, but some of your clients that you know, sold cars to are friends. So what that does lead to referral opportunities for you, and now they're telling their friends, and then social media being what it is, you know. So it just makes everything easier for you, because now, you know, you have people who are vouching for you, and now you don't have to do all the legwork.
Exactly. And it's I am working on my 3rd year in the business right now. So they always say when you reach your 3rd year, that's when you start to see that revolving door of returning clients.
So it's really about to get good.
It's really about to get goody. But people who started a lease back, you know, 2 years ago, whose leases will be coming to an end at the maybe end of this year, they'll be coming back to me. So it's just like, it's a repeating clientele cycle, plus new people, plus what you see online as well. I'm just, you know, doing this podcast to promote as well. So hopefully I get some more clientele.
Oh, for sure. And for those who don't know, any guests I have on, I'm a huge supporter and fan of. So anytime, you know, somebody reaches out to me and they know they need a service or, you know, something we talked about on the podcast, I'm the first one, like, hey, go check, like, you even got me thinking about an Audi for me as my next car purchase.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's talk, before we get into overdrafts and some numbers that go behind that, I kind of want to ask some car questions.
Sure.
So obviously you started off, you had some knowledge of cars and you kind of loved them. How quickly did it take for you to learn makes and models, VIN numbers, like all the stuff you need to actually, like, how difficult or easy was that for you to?
I'm not going to lie, like the first 6 months was still not enough.
Got you.
I want to say maybe like that on my 8th month, that's when I really started picking up everything. But I definitely had to learn from my mistakes.
Right.
They do not hold you by the hand in this industry.
Okay.
You know, like they'll give you a little class. All right, this is how you do it.
Right.
Go on.
But then it's feast or famine.
Exactly. So I had to make mistakes. There's people who are like, oh, I thought you said, and I'm like, oh, dang, I gotta watch what I say.
Right.
So you know, like they will hold that against you. So it's just like you gotta be so on top of everything, because you know these people are trusting you with a big purchase. This is their money. This could be their life savings. This could be retirement. You know, it could be just something like sentimental to them as well at the same time. So they're putting their trust into you. So you have to know what you're talking about, and you kind of like always have to, like, you know, not give them the wrong information. Well, at all. Just don't give them the wrong
And I kind of
information.
equate that to you know, being in the financial industry, is because a lot of times, like you said, this is people's money. You know, nobody plays about your money. You don't play about yours.
Right.
So a lot of times you really have to be careful about, you know, putting your foot in it and setting expectations and realistic expectations. Mm-hmm. So I kind of definitely think that translates to both of our industries because I've seen it go awry in my industry as well. So, and the fact that you were able to overcome and learn from your mistakes speaks kudos to you because, you know, a lot of people, again, sometimes somebody make a mistake and they're so distraught about it, they're ready to quit.
Exactly, literally. They're like, I'm out of here. And I'm like, whoa. And it's so funny because word track is a good thing too. Like literally how you use your words and how you talk to people.
Yes.
One thing about me, like I talk really low and I'm soft spoken and I'm calm.
Really?
So,
I didn't get that.
Really? Really? So yeah, like I'm not super aggressive or hardcore. Like I might be, you know, I might show dominance, you know, but I'm really like gentle. So like when they come in here, they're expecting anxiety, chaos, like, you know, they don't want to be here that long. Literally the first hour, they're already hungry.
Right.
You know, they're thinking about how long are we going to be here? Like, so when they speak to me, I'm just like, all right, everything's going to be okay. Like, you know, we got this going on, we have this, just, you know, give us a few seconds. And then they really just calm down and they're like, oh, okay, like, you know, all right.
See, and I love that because that leads me to the next thought I had was, how do you, or has there been a situation where you've had, like, there's this, I want to say it's, it's a misnomer that it happens like on TV, but I'm pretty sure I have seen it happen in real life as well, where there's that person coming in, they negotiating price, they playing hardball. Like, have you, like, how often do you deal with that? And because they like, no, I want it at this price.
Okay.
So how was your first time dealing with that?
So my first time dealing with like negotiating, well, it really just depends because even though I sell Audis, we are still contracted under number one Cochrane. I'm not sure if you know that.
I think I did because I do business with number one Cochrane. So
So we do, we're contracted under number one Cochrane. So there's a policy when it comes to pre-owned vehicles, there's no haggling or negotiation. So that's out the window. Okay. So we can leave those pre-owned vehicles to the side. I already tell them straight up, we don't negotiate. That's what it is. Now when it goes to new, okay, now we're you know in the fire pit here where we can go back and forth a little bit. But you know, it still makes me the middleman at the same time because I don't call the shots. I just sell the product. I get you to fall in love with the product. But at the end of the day, you know,
you don't have to final the decision.
Exactly. I still have to pass this information to my manager. It's up to my manager to see if this is going to be a deal or not. So it puts me sometimes in a tough position because I'm like, dang, I just hit it off so great with this person. They love me. And then now when I go back to my manager, she's like, oh no, we can't do that. And I'm telling them like, all right, this ain't me. This ain't me saying this. This is them, you know.
And honestly, I always tell, you know, being in that manager role, like you want that for your employee or salesperson or whoever to feel empowered that, you know, put it back on me. Because that, you don't want your name to be impacted in a negative light based off something you didn't even have the power to make the decision. So that's definitely how that dynamic works.
And even about like trades, like because that's where you get the most negotiating part down packed. Like the vehicle, yes, they love the vehicle, but when people are trading in their vehicles, you know, they did their research. They used Kelley Blue Book. They used, you know, Carvana. Oh gosh, you don't know how many people say Carvana said, and I'm like, okay, I get it. Carvana said this, I get it.
But it's only worth what somebody's willing to pay. Am I right? Or I mean, you know,
it's definitely like, but that's where people negotiate the most is when it's trade value because they want the most value they can get on their vehicle. You know, this could have been a vehicle they had their whole entire life, and they're like, I take good care of it. It had service done frequently. Like, give me the trade number. And I'm just like, okay, sir, but I'm sorry, but we came back with this number. It depends. Do you like this car that much? or not.
Well, I think it's a depreciating asset.
Exactly.
So the moment I get it is not like,
exactly.
You could be wiping that baby's butt every day.
Right.
Still...
And as soon as you drive off with that car automatically depreciates.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you leave the lot, depreciation.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, people really, they want to aim for a nice trade value so they can move on to the next purchase, but
Absolutely.
That's where it does get a little tricky because, you know, you'll have people, and speaking like, well, working in a luxury like car dealership, you know, people come in with their Porsches. People come in with like Maseratis and AMGs and such, and they're coming in here and, you know, we treat everybody the same. We still do the same process as far as valuing trades.
Yes.
But at the same time, I've noticed that I always say this up front, like, hey, listen, like, I'm going to do an appraisal on your car. I don't want to offend you on the number that I might come back with.
Okay.
Because some people do get offended on the number, especially their fancy luxury car.
Yep.
So it's just like, that's where it can get a little intense.
And I love that you learned ways to, because you've seen it enough to be like,
exactly.
I know how people react, so I'm gonna pre-warn you.
Exactly.
That no offense, but this is what I got. And
it's up to them if they want to.
And that does soften the blow. I do that. That's a tactic we use in the financial industry.
No, seriously.
Like, hey, this has no burden on me.
Right.
I'm just letting you know.
Right.
Yeah,
you know, definitely. So, but it's fun though. It's fun. You know, it's either it's a mind game too.
Yeah.
It's crazy because like, you're presenting this, but we can also take it away too. Oh, I'm sorry, you don't want the car? All right. Well, you know, I know somebody else who just called. They might want this car.
Yep.
So now it makes them think a little bit faster. Like, oh dang. How bad do I really want the car?
Right.
So, and then, you know, right then and there, they make the decision. Some people wait it out a couple of days and call me back. So it's up to them. But I also do not pressure nobody at all.
And they did say that. A lot of your reviews said no pressure.
No pressure.
Yeah, so I love that. Yep.
Because I'm so up in the air with it, I don't know how to make my own mind up.
Right.
So when people come in and they don't know and they can't make their mind up, I don't have a problem at all because it takes me a long time to make up my mind. Like, and I want to make sure that I make the smartest decision possible. So I'm just like, just think about it. You know, I'm gonna step away. I'm gonna let you think about it.
So I got one last question before we go into overdrafts, and then so what's the longest you've had a customer in a dealership? So because I remember one of my car purchases, I was leased there from like noon to like maybe 6, 7 at night. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty good. They ordered pizza for us.
Oh dang, that's what's up.
So like just
the longest?
that.
So they always say the approximate amount of time when you are buying a car is about 4 hours.
Okay.
But
I was definitely there longer.
now when you're dealing with someone who can't make their mind up, when you're dealing with someone who forgot something at home, it does create more time.
Or ain't got that insurance on the whip.
Right. It does create more of like a longer, time frame throughout the process. Now I've stayed, maybe till like 10 p.m. trying to sell a car. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And we closed at 8. So yeah.
Okay.
I stayed pretty long, and I think they were here for about. I want to say they might have came here like around 3.
That's
so
long
it's a long process, but it's also up to you, the salesperson. Like, how bad do you want this sale?
See,
do you want to back out?
That's dedication,
right?
Because I ain't gonna lie, bro. 8 o'clock. Hey, bro, y'all got to come back tomorrow.
Right. I'm going home, y'all.
Y'all got to come back tomorrow, bro. Hopefully, this car's still here when you come.
Right. And I'm such a believer too. I just like, when someone tells me their vision and where they want to be, I'm like. I'm just pushing. I'm just pushing that we can get to that point. So I don't give up until the bank say, all right, this and that. And I'm like, okay.
See, I love that. So pay attention to what you're getting.
Definitely.
So I'm going to ask for your assistance because we're going to talk about overdrafts, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
So Autumn is going to, just get into some statistics we pulled up. Because honestly, I didn't know this until I looked it up. So obviously I work in the financial industry, so I'm familiar with overdrafts and what those kind of conversations look like. But here's some things that I wanted to bring to people's attention because, especially our people in the Black community, because let's quit fooling ourselves. I'm pretty sure everybody's had at least one overdraft fee, or you're habitual. Whatever class you fall into, that's your business, but I just want you to think about this. So in 2022, banks and credit unions collected an estimated $9.9 billion, with a B, in total overdraft NFE revenue, which was a downgrade from 10.6 in 2021. So that means financial institutions are making billions of dollars off overdrafts, which is kind of how we met.
Right.
Did you have any idea?
Honestly, I am not surprised.
I knew we made money. Like, I know that's how institutions make money. So people wonder why they don't get their fees just waived automatically.
Right.
Because banks and institutions are businesses.
Right.
And that's how they make money. So if that's ever been something that perplexed you, hopefully you can understand.
Yeah.
So with that being said, how many Americans overdraft? It says 18% of consumers had overdraft within the last year, and almost 3/4 of them incurred penalty fees. That's slightly more than 1/4 paid an overdraft transfer fee. So basically, 18% of Americans have paid overdrafts, which is crazy. And how common is overdraft? In 2022, these numbers are for 2023, and this report was done in June 5th of 2023. So 17% of households with checking accounts were charged an overdraft or NSF fee at least once. And that's crazy to think about because in 2020, it was down to 16%. So if you follow the trend, well, we're still seeing decline in overdrafts because I think a lot of institutions are trying to do, overdraft protection or create accounts where there's no overdrafts. That's still a high number. Right. So what we need to do as a community is realize if this falls in your category of you have a problem with overdrafts, start to pay attention to some of these numbers we just read and start to think about ways you can prevent overdrafting. But I'm not just going to tell you a problem and not give you a solution. So here are, and Autumn, if you wouldn't mind reading it, just so people know I'm not playing when I found these up. So these are just 5 things you can do to minimize or eliminate overdrafts.
This one?
Yep. Oh, all 5. Yep.
Oh, okay. So balance your checkbook.
Number 1, keep track of how much money you got going in and how much money you got going out.
Definitely. Keep track of your balance, transactions, and automatic payments.
Yes.
That's how we met.
Yes. And now you can use online banking.
Yes.
If you're old school checkbook.
People still do checks.
Mm-hmm.
Pay with cash or use a debit card. Hey, just swipe it away or here's the cash. Create an artificial buffer. Keep a pad or cushion of money in your checking account just to be safe.
Yes.
So that's nice. Definitely like a nice safety net.
Yeah, let me give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never letting my account drop below $100. So every bill or everything that needs to come out, if I get anywhere low, you can set up alerts through online feature.
Oh yeah?
Hey, your account dropped below $100, $50, whatever that number looks like for you.
Right.
So now you gotta get more money in there because you got another cycle of bills coming up.
Definitely. Use direct deposit.
Make sure your account's staying funded. You have multiple accounts. Make sure you're having them dispersed to the right accounts.
Link your checking account to another account as well.
Yes.
And how do you avoid overdrawn fees? Opt out of overdraft coverage.
Yes, that's a big one.
Watch your account balances regularly.
Yes.
Set up alerts for low balances.
Yes, I just described that one.
Yeah, I got the alerts too. I get mad when they text me.
Yeah.
Deposit or transfer money quickly when overdraft occurs. Definitely.
So some institutions give you a grace, 24 hours. Some don't.
Right.
So that's up to you to know which one your institution does or does not.
Definitely. Get a prepaid debit card.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. If you can't manage your money responsibly, there are some designed online accounts that chime is one of the biggest ones.
Yep.
And protect yourself from yourself. Until you're able to develop good spending habits, maybe you need to be a chime customer.
Right.
You know, no offense to people who are chime, but you need to be able to protect yourself from yourself, and only you know you. So why does someone have to, you know, recommend that to you? Just, you know what, I keep getting these fees, this ain't working out, let me try to do something different.
Definitely. And the last one, look for a bank with a generous overdraft policy.
Yes.
Yes.
And I love that one because there are
generous.
So
I'm generous.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna lay down a list of the generous institutions that I researched. If you are interested, you can drop a comment in the chat or reach out to me on my social media platforms, Financial Literacy with TC, Financial Literacy with TC on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, you name it. And I'll be able to share those with you. Or you can do your own research. So, but a couple things I would want to say is when you're doing your research on institutions, and this goes back to what I always say when it comes to the financial institution you choose to be with, having a genuine relationship with that person who you're dealing with, who's opening your accounts, makes a world of difference about your understanding, especially in the Black community. And I've seen this firsthand, and I know it to be true because I've done workshops where I ask, how many of you have ever opened an account and looked at your disclosures that are given to you? And almost all the people say, oh, I glanced at it, or I've never, or it went they threw it away, or it went somewhere in their house and they've never seen it again. By you not reading that information, you are being complete ignorant to how and what financial institutions allow you to do with your account. You don't know all the features, you don't know everything because there's too much information for that person to give you right then and there, especially when you talking about you only got 30 minutes or you have an hour or, you know, so you're not sitting there reading all the, it's like if you buy a house, you sit there that entire time to go over documentation because that's the biggest purchase you're about to make in your entire life.
Right.
But when it comes to your personal account and your money, you got time limits, you got restrictions on how long you'll pay attention to the information that's being provided to you. So knowing that that's the case, they just give you a packet and it's up to you to go home and read it or reference it at a later date, which we know you don't. So why don't you do this? Anytime you have this disagreement with the institution about fees or whatever, get on their website, do your education before you go in and have a conversation with Mr. or Mrs. Banker, because I promise you, 9 times out of 10, I know you think customers are always right, but I'm pretty sure from a legality standpoint, they have all their policies and procedures listed on their website, and it says exactly what your gripe is and why it's not valid. But because you know that, you know, I didn't read it, or I don't know, or y'all didn't tell me, you be all day and night if they actually went over everything that you can and cannot do from a standpoint of your deposit agreement. So why don't you do your research, do your due diligence prior to going into any financial institution talking about getting my fees back or do this, do that. If you educate yourself prior to going into that institution, you'll probably have a better outcome and a better education before you go in and just, you know, trying to go viral or popping off on the handle of something that you're in the wrong for, but you just don't know you're in the wrong. Right. And I don't even remember when you came in. I think you're probably so pleasant because I usually remember moments where somebody's like crazy.
yeah, you don't forget that.
But no, because the biggest thing that we take in consideration as someone who's had to make decisions about, you know, waiving fees for people and stuff like that is, you know, is this a pattern for you? Are you incapable of, you know, managing your money? One, did we allow whatever transaction went through? Did we allow that to go? Did we pay that? You know, there's a lot of different factors that go in the decision making of, do you want to waive a fee for someone? And truth be told, for me, it was always, as long as you aren't habitual, I didn't mind, you know, assisting or helping with the understanding that, you know, this is not going to be a reoccurring thing. But the moment if you couldn't take accountability and you were saying thank you, but I might see you in 2 months from now, I wanted there to be a clear understanding. Hey, I'll do this for you, but understand that moving forward, you got to make some changes to how you're. Because we all make mistakes and things happen. Totally get it. But when you know Planet Fitness is coming out every month, and you let them get you again, now that ain't on me. That's on you.
Right.
So I don't want to see you in another month saying, "Can I get a fee waive?" So.
I know.
So.
But sometimes they just gonna be like, "All right, you on your own."
Right. And you can be mad and you can do everything you want to do, but
that's your account.
And this is probably something I wouldn't verbalize in an institution, but a lot of times you got to think about your amount of wealth, however much you got. Is it more than what that institution actually has? Because I assure you, there's only a certain amount that moves the needle to make them be like, oh yeah, you know what? We'll take that fee away from you, or you know what I mean. There's a relationship that's involved, and if you don't have a significant number that's gonna move the needle, you're basically making empty threats, to be honest. So if that's you and you fall into this category, just try to keep that in mind that you threatening to go to another, like we live in the land of opportunity and freedom, and you can make the right choice to go to whatever institution you want to. I always tell people I got multiple institutions I deal with, but I'm always careful that, when I talk about, oh, I'm going here, I'm going there, you always have that right and option, but that doesn't change the fact of what the situation is. So, just keep that in mind. So like I said earlier, if you are interested in getting the information about the institutions that I researched, please drop a comment in the chat. Follow me on all my social media platforms. I'll be happy to share this information with you. Or I'm imploring you to do your own research. That's really what I would prefer people to do anyway before they go into any financial institution, is to get your education up. That's the reason why this whole podcast even exists, to help us get out of the mindset of just going off ignorance and imploring us to actually use our brains to start researching, asking questions, and doing our due diligence. So, with that being said, Autumn, please let people know how they can get in touch with you.
Oh, of course. All right, so you can find me at my dealership, Audi Pittsburgh. We are on 2050 Liberty Avenue. This is right in the Strip District. You won't miss it. There's a giant Audi sign right on the main drag. Yes, this is me on the website. So if you want to browse the website and take a look and see, a little bit more of a summary about me, there's a nice little summary right below my picture as well.
Yes.
You can also find me on Facebook. I really don't promote so much of car sales on Facebook. But if you have any questions, and that's the best way you can contact me, you can hit me up on Facebook. My name is autumn.jennings. Also Instagram, it is private, but my Instagram name is Audi5000, so that is on Instagram as well. It's AUDDIE 5000, literally. And we can post my business card.
Oh, we definitely will. Yeah. And her information to reach out to her will be in the bio as well, or in the description, so you can find it there. And at the very end, we just want to make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. You can always reach out to me on all my social media platforms if you need to be able to get in contact with Autumn as well. And did you have any last words you wanted to say to the audience?
Honestly, I just want to say thank you, Tyler, for having me. This was really great. I appreciate, the platform that you've created for me to just spread the word for clients. Honestly, any females who are out there, if you have questions, if you want to, just learn a couple pointers just to get started, please feel free to reach out. I'm more than open to, help you out through the journey as far as being, a sales associate for the dealership and trying to be top sales too, because you know what? There,
You were top sales for February.
Yeah, I
right?
was just top sales for February and Black History Month.
Yeah.
So I was so determined. I'm like, man, I got to do it for the ancestors.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
swear I had to. So just hit me up and let me know. And you know, I definitely am very responsive as well. So yeah.
And I just want to give it back to you because I want to thank you for representing, because this whole podcast is about Black representation.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why I was so excited to have you on because, like I said before, I don't see too many women in the dealership space, but especially Black women. And you've been doing phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
All the research I pulled up for you had top-notch reviews, top-notch sales. So I just wish you much success and continued success. I know I'm going to be doing everything I can to try to help, you know, nudge people to come check you out so they can not only get the car that they want, but also have a quality experience because, you know, it's a testament to the work you put in.
Definitely.
And I just see much more success for you in the future. And I'm excited because I'm definitely going to have you back.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And, you know, the sky's the limit for you. So.
Oh, yeah. For sure, thank you. I do want to say something like a funny moment really
Absolutely.
quick. So, just being a girl in sales, yes, you know, like you like to curl your hair, you like to put on makeup and such. There was this one time I didn't wear my eyelashes, and this man came in and he was like, "Where's your eyelashes?" He's like, "Where's your eyelashes? You're trying to sell me a car. Where's your eyelashes?" So, ladies, them eyelashes work. Okay, so just wrap them eyelashes and you'll get a sale.
Honestly, I'd have probably thought it, but I probably wouldn't have said it too. Because for me, chivalry isn't dead. So I'm like, I'm thinking it, but as a gentleman, I don't, you know what I mean? So I probably wouldn't have said it, but.
Definitely, get cute.
For sure. So this is Autumn Jennings.
Yes.
This is Financial Literacy with TC. I want to thank you guys for joining me, and I will catch you on the next episode.
All right, see ya.